Good evening. Tonight's segment re-examines the case of former Charlotte Mayor Patrick Cannon, who is serving a 44-month sentence in a federal prison for taking bribes for services as an elected official. Cannon, who became the mayor of Charlotte in December 2013, had previously been a member of City Council and, as court and FBI documents now indicate, was the focus of a corruption investigation long before he started his campaign for mayor in 2013. The federal corruption investigation was begun by the FBI in 2010 to look at Charlotte targets, and in 2011, Cannon became the lead suspect. Throughout the investigation, undercover agents met with Cannon to discuss deals where they would pay him for his assistance with things like swaying city leaders, acquiring support for investors, and influencing zoning changes. As compensation, Cannon frequently received sums of cash, accepted at least one trip to Las Vegas, and also asked for contributions to his campaign. The primary storyline of this investigation centered around an undercover FBI agent posing as a businessman who wanted to develop land along a new transit line in the city. The agent developed a close relationship with Cannon and met him frequently over the course of several months. During this time, Cannon accepted bribes and gifts to influence zoning changes, business license, and even convince investors to contribute to the project. Many of these meetings took place in an expensive upscale South Park apartment rented by the FBI, high-end restaurants, and finally in Cannon's Government Center office. At this final meeting held in the Government Center, Cannon accepted $20,000 in cash. It was also at this meeting where Cannon upped the stakes by asking for a 1% return on the project, which would have meant receiving $1.25 million for a project that was proposed to bring in $125 million. Cannon also implicated his wife in the plan by saying the 1% increase was her idea. After his arrest in March of 2013, details on a second bribery case were also revealed. In this second case, Cannon had been receiving money to help a local nightclub owner stay in business even though the club was in the path of an extension of the new Lynx Blue Line. The assistance also came in the form of zoning, planning, and transportation departmental influence. It was also discovered that Cannon had been receiving monetary payments related to this deal for as far back as 2009. Because of the lengthy history of these actions, the FBI is also checking into other areas like the airport taxi contracts, zoning permits, liquor license, and the tourism industry. Based on several statements recorded in FBI documents, and by his immediate resignation from office the day of the arrest, it seemed pretty clear that Cannon was indeed guilty of the charges. The original charges included honest services wire fraud, theft, bribery, and extortion. However, in May 2013, Cannon agreed to a plea deal and pled guilty to honest services wire fraud, which is commonly used in cases like this involving public officials and bribery. As part of the deal, Cannon agreed to assist with the ongoing investigation in exchange for a shorter sentence, and to not have any future discoveries used against him. If Cannon does not meet his end of the agreement, he could receive the full 20-year sentence available for this charge. An additional pothole in the case for Cannon came in October of 2014, after he had already pled guilty and was considered a felon. While waiting for his date to report to federal prison, Cannon and his wife arrived at their local polling place, and Cannon cast an illegal ballot in an election. Once it was discovered, he was charged with voter fraud since, as a felon, he is no longer eligible to vote. Cannon quickly apologized for what he calls a slip of consciousness and ensures that there was no malintent behind the action. Since voter fraud is a state issue, not a federal one, his lawyer is pushing to have the charge dropped, stating that Cannon is already facing a 44-month sentence in federal prison. This charge would not add any additional time to that punishment. The other story that is difficult to get any details on is why, if the FBI had him under investigation, was he allowed to run for and become mayor. Much of the evidence against him comes clearly before he began his campaign. Many have suggested that the FBI was waiting to build a bigger headline. But it has also been suggested that having Cannon accept additional bribes while holding a higher elected office would strengthen the overall case against him. In doing so, they gave him the opportunity to seal the deal by meeting him in the mayor's office for the final deal, where he added fuel to the fire by attempting to extort them out of the additional 1% return on investment. In the end, this is a clear case where an elected official abused the power given to them by the people that trusted them. Thank you and have a good night.